se cose.
Hey everyone, my name is Jessica. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. So today's video, I'm going to be doing one that I filmed like 2 weeks ago, but I didn't like the footage and then life just got away from me. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my most anticipated books for 2020 Latinx edition. So there are so many Latinx books that are being released this year and I'm so excited for all of them. A quick disclaimer, I do know that I know I'm missing a lot of books. I have a list of about 23 or 24 books on here. My iPad here, and you guys can't see it. Oh, you can kind of see it from right here, but it's got like my notes for the books that are being released. So, and with the dates on here, I try to have them as updated because I do know with the pandemic that's going on, a lot of the books have been pushed back, so I try to keep the dates as updated as possible. That is subject to change, please be aware. Being released April 28th is Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. This is about a girl named Renata Convida. She was kidnapped by the King's Justice when she was a child. She is actually a robari. They are the rarest and most feared Moria, which I believe Moria are like people with magic. They're able to steal memories. So she is also a whisperer. They're a group of rebel spies that are working against the crown in attempts to try to save their fellow Moria from persecution from the crown. One day, the commander of her unit, his name is Des, he is kidnapped by the King's Justice. In her attempt to rescue him, like the mission goes completely wrong, so Renata now has to complete his mission. The mission involves her having to go back into the palace, and in her mission she has to convince her former captors that she is still loyal to the crown. With her return to the palace, old memories are stirred up that are like, I'm assuming, changing like her mind possibly, and she ends up discovering a secret that could change the fate of the kingdom and also end the war. So very excited to get this. I'm actually getting 3 copies of this book: the Owl Crate exclusive edition, the Fairy Loot edition, and then the regular US edition. Will I be getting the UK edition? Depends on how different the Fairy Loot one is, but Zoraida Cordova is one of my favorite authors, so like anything to support my queen. Next being released also on April 28th is Island Affair by Priscilla Oliveras. This is about a social media influencer named Sarah, and she is actually in recovery from an eating disorder. With the recovery, she has like some prospective like jobs in her career, so she sees that her life is going up. But even with all these good news, she's always like in the shadow of her siblings who are very successful. I'm assuming they have like traditional jobs. They also have like really good spouses and stuff like that, and it just seems like they have a really good life going on. So she always feels like she's like not good enough, not measuring up to them. She's gonna go on vacation with her family. Her unreliable boyfriend doesn't show up. She gets the help of a firefighter paramedic named Louis, and she gets him to act as her smitten fiance. Luis is pretty guarded, but he's always down to like help people. It's the whole fake dating trope, which I like that trope. It's like, if it's done well, I love that trope. They have to think of stories of like how they met, how they got engaged, and, you know, romance ensues. Now we're in the month of May, and May 5th, Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo is being released, and this is about 2 girls. First girl is a girl named Carmen Rios, and she lives in the Dominican Republic, and she's like always looking forward to the summer when her father is able to visit from the United States. When she goes to the airport one day to pick him up, I'm assuming her mom, instead of seeing her father there, she goes to an airport that is like completely filled with crying people. Next, we meet a girl named Yahaira Rios, and she lives in New York City. She is pulled out of her class into the principal's office, where her mother tells her that her father has actually passed away from a plane accident. So the girls' lives are completely changed because of the death of their father, and then also they discover that they each have a half-sister. I am so excited for this to come out. I am definitely going to be listening to the audiobook because the audiobook is narrated by Elizabeth, and my friend Sammy has already read it and they said it was so good, so I'm even more excited to listen to it now. Next book that is being released also on May 5th is Silent Gaby Fix the Universe by Carlos Hernandez. This is the second book to the Silent Gaby universe series. I don't know what the book is called, but this is the second book. It just follows Sal and Gaby as they have to deal with the consequences of what happened in the previous book. And that's all I can really say because this is a sequel and I don't want to spoil anybody. So next we have A Taste of Sage by Yafa Santos, and this is being released on May 19th. So this is about a woman named Lumi Santana. She actually has a gift of being able to perceive a person's emotions after tasting their cooking, and she has a dream to open her own restaurant in Upper Manhattan that is like a mix of Dominican cooking and other cultures' cuisines. She ends up getting the chance to open her own restaurant, but unfortunately her venture fails and she is forced to become a sous chef in this traditional French restaurant. So she is going to be working with a man named Julien Dax, and he is a celebrated chef, and he's really known for his acid tongue and for his very charming smile. When he finds out about her gift though, he like goes out of his way to prove her wrong, so she makes a vow to never taste his cooking. But one day curiosity hits her and she ends up tasting his food, and when she takes a bite she's overcome with like this shocking emotion. It didn't really say what the emotion was, but she ends up becoming like addicted to his cooking. Romance ensues, but there is some trouble lurking in the background. So also being released on May 19th is We Are Not From Here by Jenny Torres Sanchez. This is about 3 teens. Their names are Pulga, Chico, and Pequeña, and they live in a dangerous town in Guatemala. Even though like there's always danger lurking around, they've been able to create this like warm and welcoming community with them and their family. But one day the threats become just too real and the 3 are forced to run for hope, for freedom, and for their lives. So this book just follows the journey from Guatemala to Mexico to the US. So next we're on to June, and the first book is being released June 2nd, and that is Category 5 by Anne Davila Cardinal. This is the sequel to 5 Midnights. Off the northeastern coast of Puerto Rico, there is a tiny island that is trying to recover from Hurricane Maria. On the main island, developers are coming in to try to buy the island for a fraction of its worth, and we're following Lupe, Javier, and Marisol as they are trying to investigate some murders that follow in the wake of the hurricane. So also being released on June 2nd is The Way to Rio Luna by Zoraida Cordova. This follows 11-year-old Danny and Danny believes in pixie dust and rabbit holes can lead you to Wonderland, but most of all he believes that his sister Pili is waiting for him somewhere. Danny was told by the police that his sister is a runaway, but he doesn't believe them at all, because she made a promise when they were separated into different foster homes that she would always find a way to him. The years start to go on, and unfortunately with no new news about his sister, his hope begins to fade. He's ready to give up on hope for his sister. He finds a mysterious book in a library. It was actually checked out by his sister the previous year. And this book is a collection of stories with missing pages and secret endings that have hints on how to get to a new world. So he decides to follow this map, and it takes him from Staten Island to Ecuador to Ireland. And on the way, Danny learns that meeting your favorite characters isn't always a good thing. Because of this like new map, he is even more determined to find his sister, even if it means standing up to the greatest threat Fairyland has ever known. Next, being released on June 9th is Curse of a Night Witch by Alex Astor. So the people of Emblem Island are born knowing their fate, and they have lifelines that show the course of their life, and the emblem dictates how they will spend it. 12-year-old Toro Luna has the leadership emblem. He hates it, and he's determined to choose a new life path. On the annual New Year's Eve celebration, the Emblemites always throw their wishes into the bonfire to have them granted, and on this particular one, Tor throws his wish into the fire, and his wish is to have a different power. The next day, Tor wakes up to a new marking on his skin, and this marking is actually a curse that shows that he only has a week left to live. So there's only one way to break the curse, and that is to find the Night Witch. With his 2 friends Melda and Engel by his side, and only with the ancient stories of the island as his guide, he must travel the unpredictable island to find this Night Witch. Next being released on June 29th is Hate Crush by Angelina M. Lopez, and this is the sequel to Lush Money. This follows Mateo's sister Sofia. That's all I'm gonna say because it's a sequel, so possible spoilers, but like this is a romance, so like technically they're really a lot of the times they're just like companions, really, rather than like an actual series, but I didn't write any notes down. So yeah, but I really loved Lush Money when I read it last year. It's not great. I loved it. Next up we have Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and this is being released on June 30th. First of all, can we just... this cover. The flavor. This is about a woman named Naomi, and she heads to High Place after receiving a frantic letter from her newlywed cousin begging for somebody to save her from a mysterious doom. Naomi is really unsure of what to expect. She doesn't really know her cousin's husband because like they were recently newlywed, they were recently married, and she doesn't really know much about the region either. When she gets there though, the house begins to invade her mind and her dreams, and her dreams are like just filled with blood and doom. Really, her only ally is the youngest family's son. Even though he wants to like help Naomi, he also is trying to hide his family's dark secrets, so she has kind of really no help, to be honest. As she digs deeper into the house, she starts like uncovering these secrets filled with violence and madness, and soon she is mesmerized by the terrifying but seductive call of High Place, and soon she may find it impossible to leave the house altogether. So now we're on to July. Being released on July 7th is a Muse Squad, The Cassandra Curse, and this is written by Chantal Acevedo. This is about a girl named Callie Martinez Silva. One day she accidentally turns her best friend into a pop star, and with this she discovers that she is the newest muse of epic poetry. She's taken to the Muse headquarters, and there she joins 3 recruits, and the group of 4 call themselves the Muse Squad. And the junior muses are all tasked with using magic to inspire and empower, which can be pretty difficult when you're only 11 and still figuring out the goddess within. So the Muse Squad's first assignment turns out to be a classmate of Callie. So the Muse Squad go to live with Callie's family in Miami to help Maya Rivero, the classmate. When they get there, they discover that she not only needs inspiration, she also needs saving from vicious sirens out to corrupt her destiny. The Muse Squad will have to master their powers in time to thwart the Cassandra Curse before it'll undo them all. So, also being released July 7th is You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. So this follows a woman named Jasmine Lynn Rodriguez, and she is actually the latest soap opera darling, and she finds herself in a scandal when her pictures are splashed across all the tabloids after a really messy breakup. So Jasmine returns to New York City to star in a bilingual romantic comedy that is going to be streamed for the #1 streaming service in the country, not the company. She's going for the company. She really figures that her role in this is going to be easy because again she is a soap opera star, but all that changes when she discovers who she's going to be starring with. Her co-star is novela hunk Ashton Suarez, and Ashton's last role was actually killed off, and now he's extremely worried that his career is also dead. So he takes this potentially huge role as a way to put him on the map for Hollywood and their agents. So in order for this to happen, he needs to generate hot on-screen chemistry with his co-star. But a disastrous first impression affects any chemistry they might have had. So now with their careers on the line, they agreed to start meeting in private to rehearse. So these rehearsals lead to a hot behind-the-scenes romance. But while their on-screen performances improve, the media decides to put their sights on Jasmine, and with that it threatens to ruin her new image and also to expose Ashton's closely guarded secret. I am so excited for this because I used to watch novelas not that often, but kind of often with my tias when I was younger, and I found out that there was like a book with novela stars. I was like, oh, okay, because I know that behind the scenes of all those novelas there was some drama. I know it, okay? It's Hollywood, or the film industry, really. I know there had to be some crazy stuff happening behind the scenes. Next up we have The Total Eclipse of Nestor Lopez by Adriana Cuevas, and this is being released July 21st. So this follows Nestor Lopez, and he and his mother moved to Texas with his grandma after his father is deployed. He doesn't want like the town to discover his secret, which the secret is he is able to talk to animals. One day the animals in his town start to disappear, and his grandma actually becomes like the prime suspect after she is seen going into like the section of the woods where the animals were last seen. So Nestor begins to investigate the source of the disappearance, and he discovers that the cause of it is the Wayward Witch, and this witch can actually absorb an animal's powers during a solar eclipse. So it is up to Nestor and his friends to stop the Wayward Witch, save the place he is now starting to become home before the solar eclipse happens. So now we're on to August. Being released August 1st is Wayward Witch by Zoraida Cordova. Before you say anything, yes I know, okay, let's just take in her power that she's releasing 3 books. Wayward Witch is actually the 3rd and the final book in the Brooklyn Bruja series. So this follows Rose Mortis on her death day, and Rose is actually a fixer, but she's been feeling lost after gaining new powers. It's causing her to feel lost. Can't really say much, but I'm so excited to own the copy because I actually already received an e-arc and I loved it. Zoraida did it again. I'm so excited to have this book. Being released on August 4th is Don't Ask Me Where I'm From by Jennifer De Leon. I didn't have a chance to write the notes, so I'm just gonna read you guys the description. 15-year-old Liliana is fine, thank you very much. It's fine that her best friend Jade is all caught up in her new boyfriend lately. It's fine that her inner city high school is disorganized and underfunded. It's fine that her father took off again. Okay, maybe that isn't fine, but what is Liliana supposed to do? She's 15. Being left with her increasingly crazy mom? Fine. Her heathen little brothers? Fine, fine, fine. But it turns out Dad did leave one thing behind beside her crazy family. Before he left, he signed Liliana up for a school desegregation program called the Medco, and she's been accepted. Being accepted into Medco isn't the same as being accepted at her new school. In her old school, Liliana, half Guatemalan and half Salvadorian, was part of the majority where almost everyone was a person of color. But now at Westburg, where almost everyone is white, the struggles of being a minority are unavailable. It becomes clear that the only way to survive is to lighten up. And if Dad signed her up for this program, he wouldn't have just wanted Liliana to survive. He would have wanted her to thrive. So what if Liliana is now going by Lily? So what if she's acting like she thinks she's better than her old friends? It's not a big deal. It's fine. But then she discovers the gutting truth about her father. He's not on one of his side trips. And it isn't that he doesn't want to come home. He can't. He's undocumented and he's been deported back to Guatemala. Soon nothing is fine and Lily has to make a choice. She's done trying to make her white classmates and teachers feel more comfortable. Done changing who she is, denying her culture and where she came from. They want to know where she's from, what she's about. Liliana is ready to tell them. A heavy book, but I'm excited to read it. So next being released August 4th is Lopez Ona by Romina Garber. This is about a 16-year-old named Manuela, and she is on the run from her father's Argentinian crime family, and she's also at the risk of being deported. So her journey takes her from Miami to a secret world buried within her own, a world of Argentinian folklore where witches and werewolves come alive at the full moon. So next, also being released August 4th, is Paula Santiago and the River of Tears by Taylor K. Mejia. So there's only one rule for Paula Santiago, and that is to stay away from the river. It's mostly come more into effect because of the drowning of someone from her school like a few months or a year ago. But even before this happened, Bao has been told to stay away from the river by her mom. Despite her mom's superstition, Bao decides to test out her new telescope with her friends Emma and Dante. The night that they decide to meet up, Emma doesn't appear, and Bao actually sees a shadowy figure in the reeds, and she starts to believe there is some truth to her mother's beliefs. Bao has always relied on science and hard facts, but in order to find her friend, she will have to enter a completely new world filled with monsters and unnatural mist and spirits that are being controlled by a terrifying force that defies both logic and legend. Also being released August 4th is Cia Martinez and the Moonlit Beginning of Everything by Raquel Vasquez Gillen. So it's been 3 years since Cia Martinez's mom disappeared, and Cia just wants to move on, but it's pretty hard when the people in her small town always refer to her mom's deportation as an unfortunate incident. Now, Cia knows that at this point her mom must be dead, but every new moon she drives into the desert and lights candles to guide her mom home. One night her life is changed when a blue lit spacecraft crashes in front of her car, and there she finds her mother. She must race to save her mom from armed and possible alien soldiers, uncover secrets that are dangerous and life-changing. This book is filled with connections between immigration, folklore, and alien life, which that just really drew my attention because, like, you know, immigrants are always being called aliens, but now it's like, whoa, actual aliens, so like sci-fi and shit. Like, that's one thing I never would have imagined seeing, that with books that deal with immigration. Like Lopez Ona deals with immigration, but it's fantasy. We Are Not From Here has like hints of magical realism in the book, so having a book with like sci-fi and immigration is something that I never would have anticipated, but I'm still very much looking forward to reading this book. Okay, so now we are on to September, and being released September 1st is one of my most anticipated releases is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. I was actually sent an ARC by Fierce Reads because I am actually a member of the Cemetery Boys street team. So real quick, I just want to say that I'm actually also doing a giveaway because Fierce Reads also gifted me with an extra ARC. All you have to do is be following me and Aiden Thomas on Twitter and retweet the tweet. I actually need to pin that because that should be my pinned tweet, but it's gonna be my pinned tweet, so go ahead and check out my giveaway. And this giveaway actually ends April 30th, so I'm very sorry that this video is gonna be going up late. It was not my intention, but let's just get on to the book. When his traditional Latinx family has problems accepting his gender, Yadriel becomes determined to prove himself a real brujo. With the help of his cousin and best friend Maritza, he performs the quinces ritual himself and then sets out to find the ghost of his murdered cousin and set it free. However, the ghost he summons is actually Julian Diaz, the school's resident bad boy, and Julian is not about to go quietly into death. He's determined to find out what happened and tie up some loose ends before he leaves. Left with no choice, Yadriel agrees to help Julian so that they both can get what they want. But the longer Yadriel spends with Julian, the less he wants him to leave. So, I already read this book. I'm so emo over this book. I cannot wait for there to be like more fan art. There's also a pre-order campaign going on where if you submit your receipt, you can actually get some tarot cards for the characters, and you are also entered to win a giveaway to receive a pin. If you guys want the chance to win an ARC, follow me on Twitter, follow Aiden, and retweet the tweet. And this is also international. So yeah. Pre-order Cemetery Boys because it's so good and you're not going to regret it. So next up, being released on September 22nd is Miss Meteor by Taylor K. Mejia and Anna Marie McLemore. There hasn't been a winner of the Miss Meteor beauty pageant who looks like Lita Perez or Chiqui Quintanilla in all its history. But that's not the only reason Lita wants to enter the contest or why her ex-best friend Chiqui wants to help her. The road to becoming Miss Meteor isn't about being perfect. It's about sharing who you are with the world and loving the parts of yourself no one else understands. So to pull off the unlikeliest underdog story in pageant history, Lita and Chiqui are going to have to forget the past and imagine a future where girls like them are more than enough. They are everything. Next up, we have Yuria by Yamil Said Mendez, and this is being released September 29th. So this is about a girl named Camila Hassan, and Camila actually lives a double life. At home, she is a careful daughter and lives in her brother's shadow and under the roof of her short-tempered father. But when she's on the field, she is known as La Furia, a powerhouse filled with skill and talent. And her team actually has the chance to participate for the South American tournament. The only problem is her parents wouldn't allow a girl to play football, and she needs her parents' permission to be able to go any further. While this is happening, an old flame of hers comes back to town, and his name is Diego, and he actually left the town to become an international football player. Things have changed since he left, and she doesn't want to be distracted by him. Next, coming out October 6th is A Cuban's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow by Laura Taylor Namey. Laila Reyes has a plan: take over her abuela's role as head baker at the panaderia, 2 move in with her best friend after graduation, and 3 live happily ever after with her BF. With her boyfriend. Why didn't I just say boyfriend? The great trifecta happens and everything, including Laila, falls apart. So her parents become really worried for her mental health, and they decide to make a new plan for her. And this new plan is for her to spend 3 months with family friends in Winchester to relax and to rest. When she gets there, she really sees it more of a nightmare because there's really no sun. There's really no Miami flavor in this town. But that all changes when she meets Orion Max. He's actually going through his own problems right now, but he is really determined to help Lila out and appoints himself as her personal tour guide. Soon she becomes charmed with Orion and England after seeing drama-filled music scenes and the English countryside, and she begins to see the possibility of a new future. Okay, so and now we're on to the final book, which this book is being released December 15th, and that is Oculta by Maya Montaigne. This is the second book in the Forgery of Magic series. I read Nocturna last year. I loved it. I met Maya last year. I love her. She's the best. I think that Nocturna was like an extremely underrated book and not enough people read it. So you have all the way until December to read Nocturna. Read it. So this follows Finn and Alfie after the first book. I can't really say much because spoilers. But read Nocturna. The audiobook is good too. Pick it up. So that completes my list, and again, I know that I'm probably missing a good amount of books, but anyway, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!